Kaguya-sama, Love is War. If you watched this anime with English subtitles or dubbing, what kind of story did you imagine from that title? And after watching it, did the anime feel different from what you expected? More emotional? More ridiculous? More clever? I'm Japanese. And honestly, when I first saw the English title, I thought, wow, this is really good. It sounds dramatic. It sounds catchy. And most importantly, it instantly tells anime fans, this is a romance battle. I think it was a brilliant localization choice. Because if they translated the original Japanese title directly, a lot of overseas fans probably wouldn't understand what it really means. But here's the interesting part. The original Japanese title is actually a little different. And hidden inside that original title is a cultural expectation Japanese viewers immediately understand. That's why I made this video. I wanted to share the part Japanese viewers find so funny with anime fans around the world. So if you already enjoyed Kaguya-sama, Love is War, I hope this video helps you enjoy it even more.
こんにちは、ともです。それではどうぞごゆっくり。
So first, let's talk about Kaguya. For many overseas anime fans, Kaguya probably just sounds like a beautiful anime girl name. But in Japan, that name already carries a very specific image. Because every Japanese person knows a famous princess named Kaguya. She is the heroine of the ancient Japanese tale, the tale of the bamboo cutter. There isn't a single Japanese person who doesn't know this story. Now, let's introduce the original Princess Kaguya and who she was. An old bamboo cutter discovered a baby emitting a mysterious light from inside a bamboo stalk. He and his wife raised the child with great care and named her Kaguya. As she grew older, her beauty became famous across the land. Many powerful men tried to marry her, but Kaguya rejected all of them. Even the emperor himself fell in love with her. But in the end, we learn the truth. Princess Kaguya was actually a member of the Moon People. And on a night of a full moon, the Moon People came to take her back. Therefore, she left a memento for the emperor and returned to the moon. So, we Japanese viewers tend to form certain preconceptions the moment we hear the name Kaguya. She is beautiful, and should be unattainable. She is like a resident of the moon completely out of reach. That cultural image already exists before the anime even begins. By the way, in the third episode of Season 2, there's a scene where Kaguya and Miyuki discuss the story of Princess Kaguya. Incidentally, I agree with Miyuki's interpretation of the memento left behind by Princess Kaguya. And the anime absolutely uses that image on purpose. At first glance, Kaguya Shinomiya feels exactly like the Princess Kaguya Japanese viewers already know. She's elegant, beautiful, academically gifted, athletic, rich. At school, she's admired almost like royalty. And Kaguya herself is fully aware of her status. As the daughter of a powerful conglomerate family, she doesn't believe romance is something she can approach casually. That part actually feels very similar to the original Princess Kaguya. In the old folktale, Princess Kaguya also seemed completely out of reach. Men fell in love with her instantly. But she never accepted their advances. Not because she hated them, but because she already knew she could never truly stay in this world. So both versions of Kaguya share the same image. Beautiful, elegant, untouchable. But the original Kaguya and Kaguya-sama are, in some ways, complete opposites. In The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, the story revolves around Kaguya rejecting her suitors. She even gives impossible tasks to the men trying to marry her. hoping they'll give up. But Kaguya-sama, Love is War, is not a story about rejecting confessions. It's a story about desperately trying to receive one. That's the twist Japanese viewers immediately recognize. Kaguya Shinomiya and Miyuki Shirogane clearly like each other. Everyone around them already sees them as the perfect couple. But neither of them wants to confess first. Because in their minds, the person who confesses first loses. So this proud, untouchable Kaguya ends up constantly scheming, overthinking, and panicking, just trying to make the other person confess first. And for Japanese viewers, that gap makes the title even funnier. The legendary Princess Kaguya, the unreachable woman nobody could win over, has become a girl desperately trying to be confessed to. At first glance, this series looks like a simple romantic comedy. Two proud teenagers refuse to confess their feelings and try to force the other person to confess first. That's the basic idea. But underneath that comedy, there's actually something more complicated happening. Miyuki Shirogane became student council president through pure intelligence, hard work, and charisma. He earned the respect of students from wealthy elite families. But socially, he is nothing like Kaguya Shinomiya. He doesn't come from a powerful background. He isn't rich. And at this point in the story, he's still just a high school student. So Miyuki understands something very clearly. He is not in a position where he can casually confess his feelings to someone like Kaguya. But if Kaguya were the one to confess first, then maybe he could accept those feelings. That's why he desperately tries to make Kaguya confess instead. And Kaguya feels something similar. As the heir to an enormous conglomerate family, she understands the weight of her family name. She knows romance is not something she can treat lightly. And this connects back beautifully to the original Princess Kaguya. In the old folktale, Princess Kaguya was a being from the moon. That's why she continued to reject love. But Kaguya-sama twists that idea in a fascinating way. This Kaguya desperately wants Miyuki Shirogane to confess to her. She tries every strategy imaginable to make it happen. And interestingly, Miyuki himself may also unconsciously see Shinomiya Kaguya through the image of Princess Kaguya. Kaguya is supposed to reject love. Kaguya is supposed to be unreachable. So in his mind, confessing directly feels hopeless. Even revealing his feelings feels like losing. And that's what makes this romantic comedy so fascinating. These two clearly care about each other. Their relationship feels incredibly close. And yet, they suffer, panic, overthink, and struggle with psychological conflict, and are unable to move forward. And this is exactly where the Japanese title becomes so important. The English title, Love is War, sounds dramatic and memorable. But the Japanese title explains the actual victory condition of the war. Kaguya-sama wa kokurasetai. Literally, it means Kaguya wants to make him confess. And here, the word confess is extremely important. Because in Japanese culture, especially among students and young people, there is a very clear difference between friendship and romance. In Japan, a romantic relationship usually begins with a formal confession of feelings. One person says, "I like you. Would you be my lover?" And when the other person accepts, that's the moment the couple officially begins dating. This confession is called Kokuhaku. Without Kokuhaku, even if two people go to the movies together, eat together, or seem incredibly close, many Japanese people would still hesitate to call them a couple. They might simply say, "We're just friends." Even if everyone around them thinks those two clearly have feelings for each other, if there's no kokuhaku, their relationship remains just that of friends, not lovers. And that's the real battle hidden inside this anime. Who will make the other person confess first? Can Kaguya successfully force Miyuki Shirogane into Kokuhaku? That tension is already hidden inside the Japanese title itself. So what do you think about Japan's Kokuhaku culture? And how do you feel about Kaguya-sama, Love is War? Let me know in the comments.